down. Yes! 3 down!
Hello everyone, I'm CoolGuy. Welcome back, and today we're going to be reviewing the Hunter's Exotic chest piece, the Dragon Shadow. Its intrinsic perk, Wraith Metal Mail, and we're going to call this the Wraith buff as we go forward in the review. It grants increased movement and weapon handling speed for a short time after dodging, and after learning the ins and outs of this chest piece, it is very good. It's top tier with what it does. And with these exotic armor pieces, you really have to see where the armor helps you. Is it situational? Is it all the time? Can it be used multiple times per match or strike? Is it worth running over other exotics? Every piece of gear has a place, and this chest piece works on multiple hunter subclasses and skill trees. This is a neutral exotic, meaning that it can be used on any subclass, any part of the hunter. And there are some pieces for specific classes, like the Lucky Raspberry. It grants improved arc bolt for the Arc Strider, and we are moving through the hunter's chest pieces at the moment. So if you haven't seen the Lucky Raspberry review, it is top tier. There's a link in the description down below. There are 11 total exotics, and 6 of them are neutral. The Foe Tracer and Knucklehead Radar, they grant radar buffs. The Mechaneer Trick Sleeves, they grant sidearm, ready, and reload speed buffs. We have the Dragon Shadow, which we are reviewing today. The Lucky Pants Boots, they grant hand cannon ready speed and initial accuracy. And then the Stompies, they improve jump, increase sprint speed, and slide distance. So we're going to bring some of these up as we dive deeper into the Dragon Shadow for comparison purposes. Now, its main perk, Wraith Metal Mail, grants increased movement and weapon handling speed for a short time after dodging. So the time that you get after dodging is a very respectable 10 seconds, but our point needs to start at the frame right after we get out of Shade Step, when our gun is ready out of dodge, so 9 seconds is the actual time that we get. For our dodge, the dodge has a 25-second cooldown timer on a base level. If you add an ability Paragon mod, that drops the cooldown to 21 seconds. The chest piece comes with a Void Paragon mod, where the class abilities recharge faster when using a Void subclass, meaning our Night Stalker. Now, the exception to the rule is the Way of the Wind skill tree on the Arc Strider with focused breathing. Sprinting recharges your dodge ability. This puts you on a 17-second cooldown. This does not stack with an Arc Paragon mod. This is important as we dive deeper. From what I've tested, the buffs that the Dragon Shadow gives maxes out the stat beyond mods, and they do not stack. As an example, we have the Paragon mod mentioned earlier with our dodge ability, but another example is a munition reloader. The munition reloader improves reload speed for the weapon equipped. It gives a faster reload than base, but when you're in the Wraith buff from the Dragon Shadow, it reloads even faster than that mod. And the reload while in the Wraith buff is going to be the same, and it does not matter if you have on a reloader mod. It doesn't make it faster than that. Again, essentially the Wraith buff maxes out the stat for the weapon. So here are the buffs that you get: a small increase to movement, and you can feel this after your dodge. It's hard to judge the exact speed, but it is noticeable. It feels like you get a little burst from your jump, and I first noticed this in a gameplay you guys have seen previously. After I shade step, I see an enemy over a ridge, and my jump was so far. That's with the Wraith buff active. This is something that it does, and it's good for these awkward situations that you need to close distances, and it is very good for getting away. And when the buff is active, you also get increased handling. Handling involves aim down sight speed, increased weapon switching, and this buff also increases your reload. That's a lot to take in, and this is where we utilize everything that the chest piece has to offer. And what I like about this chest piece is it makes you, the player, more deadly with your weapons. That's exactly what the chest piece does. It makes your gunplay better. First, we have aim down sight speed. Now, this is for all weapons. It makes them all a lot more snappy. And one of the most important things is how you ADS out of sprint. Those split seconds are what wins gunfights. Sprinting or regular aim down sights, this helps out some weapons that are really clunky as well. As an example, let's take the Suro shotgun, the good bone structure. It shoots a slug round, and the aim down sight speed is very slow, even with the handling mod equipped. But after Shade Step, you get the Wraith buff active. It makes the shotgun perform closer to what the Chaperone did in Destiny 1. It's a lot more snappy, easier to land a shot, not having to wait on the aim down sights time. It's in these situations where the chest piece turns something that had an issue into something that is capable of hard pushing. This also extremely helps snipers for a number of reasons. The regular ADS time isn't that slow, but again, it helps. We have the Suro single clap, and the regular ADS speed that this has, again, isn't that bad, but it starts to really help you out when you ADS from sprint. It makes you able to quickscope with it. It's really good for aggressive sniping in PvP, for all the snipers. And in most of my gameplay, I'm using the Valletta D. It's a high impact sniper and it has quick draw. And side note, if you are sniping, this is ideal for PvP. It's a big perk, makes it really snappy with quick draw. But with the ADS buff from the Dragon Shadow, it feels a lot more responsive. Not by much, but it does help out, especially with its reload, which we're going to get into in a little bit. And what I like to do with these weapons is shade step well before my engagement. That way we have the Wraith buff going into it, and this is generally how I use this chest piece. It lasts long enough that you can do that and be successful, and at the end we're going to talk about keys to success with the chest piece and tips on how to utilize it, and that's going to be our number 1. The aim down sights buff plainly helps your everyday engagement with the AR that you're using, the scout, the sidearm, the SMG, quick and efficient target acquisition for all your weapons. Next, we have a faster time switching between our weapons. Again, that kind of thing is top tier, in my opinion. It seems small, it seems somewhat insignificant, but going from your sniper to hand cannon, or in CQC, switching to your SMG at an instant are the little things that have a huge impact in your engagements. Again, it's very fast, and in PvE and PvP, it can save you. It means more DPS, which we're going to cover later on in the PvE portion. And then finally, we have the reload speed. In a previous video showing off what I believe is the best SMG in the game, the Sundok C and the NEOD, they have kill clip, and all that footage in that video was me using the Dragon Shadow chest piece. To get a kill, get a fast reload, you have more time and a faster path to kill clip. But again, I'm getting near instant reload speed with the SMG. It is aiming down sights faster as well. And that's just one example. All weapons get a fast reload. In PvP, you can empty the mag and get right back into the gunfight. It's good in every single engagement that you get into. And also, don't sleep with what you can do in PvE with it. Faster reloads equal more DPS. You can start chaining abilities, and for PvE, I recommend the marksman dodge. So when dodging, it automatically reloads your weapon. So you spin a clip, you do a marksman dodge to instantly reload, spin a clip, and then have the reload buff. Very good for PvE. It really helps weapons like hand cannons that have a slow inherent reload. You have to mess around with it, but there are a lot of situations where this helps DPS and give you an edge in a gunfight. And I just did some of the raid, and I won't give any spoilers, but there is a part where you have to down a war beast. You need to do damage quickly on it. So imagine the scenario. You see the war beast or strike boss, you drop 5 full auto shotgun rounds on him, you dodge, instantly reload the weapon with the dodge, spin the full auto shotgun ammo again, then you start pumping shells way back into it with a fast reload speed because of the Wraith buff. For more DPS, it's crazy good. And after seeing the buff, seeing what it does, there are some neutral exotics that I believe become way lesser than the Dragon's Whisper, like the Trick Sleeves and the Lucky Pants. Those things give things like reload and ready speed buffs, and let's say like the Lucky Pants, they do give hand cannon accuracy, but I feel those exotics, for them to be the best that they can possibly be, you have to essentially main the weapon, and that's my issue. That doesn't happen too often. In PvE and PvP, we are constantly switching from AR to SMG, hand cannon to scout, energy weapon to kinetic weapon, it goes on. Whereas no matter where you are with the Dragon's Whisper, whatever gun you're using, you get all these buffs. So I prefer this chest piece over them. Next, let's see where the chest piece works on the Hunter. We have 3 subclasses, 6 total skill trees, so you have to take into consideration what other exotics you have for the subclasses. As an example, the Lucky Raspberry is too good to pass up on the Arc Strider for PvP, but that doesn't mean that you can't do well with the Dragon, because it does have a lot of synergy, the most synergy actually, with the skill trees for the Arc Strider. So first we have Gunslinger, and honestly the chest piece works for all the subclasses, but mostly it's going to be in PvE, and using the Marksman dodge. The top skill tree, we have Chain of Woe. Precision kills increase weapon reload speed for you and your allies. Then you have the dodge to gain reload speed in between. And the bottom tree has Practice Makes Perfect. Precision hits reduce the cooldown of your super. Again, we're going to be dodging, we're going to be getting quick reloads to dish out our precision hits. Now, all the other perks don't have synergy for these 2 subclass skill trees, so there's only 2 out of a total of 8. But don't be mistaken, the Gunslinger's neutral game has always been about gunplay, and the chest piece does help your gunplay. Next, we have Arc Strider. The top tree is the Way of the Warrior skill tree. This is a melee build focused around the dodge, so dodging increases your melee range. So you have the Wraith buff with increased melee range. If you get a kill with your melee, it resets your dodge, so you're going to be getting the Wraith buff more often. And when you get a kill with the melee, you start health regeneration and increased melee damage. Lots of dodge with this skill tree going on, and more opportunities to use the Wraith buff. It's a very solid option. Next is the Way of the Wind. Earlier we talked about focused breathing to get your cooldown to 17 seconds. Melee strikes disorient enemies. Lightning reflexes, you're hard to kill after dodging. Really good with the dodge again. So there's lots of synergy with the Arc Strider. You can't go wrong using the Dragon Shadow anywhere on the Arc Strider. Next we have the Night Stalker, and remember the Dragon Shadow does come with a Void Paragon mod. It does work on your day-to-day gunplay, but only has synergy with the top skill tree. And this skill tree is probably my favorite to run the chest piece with, the Way of the Trapper. We have Keen Scout, so sprint and sneak faster. We get Enhanced Tracker. So you get the sprint and sneak buff, and then you add a little bit more mobility with the Wraith buff. And then we have Vanishing Step. Dodging makes you vanish from line of sight for a short time, so you get Invis. I love this setup in PvP. So you can dodge, go invisible, you have 9 seconds of Wraith buff and a couple seconds of invis. To gain position or to move away, it's really good to shade out of a situation, go invis, and then just dip out because you have Keen Scout and you have the mobility buff. Very awesome, very good. So finally, that brings us to our keys to success with Dragon Shadow. Number 1, in PvE, use the marksman dodge to maximize your DPS with your reloads. Number 2, for PvP, dodge well before the engagement. In Destiny 2, there's a lot of team fights. You see team fights coming, you see engagements coming, there's someone right around the corner. I shade step close to him, right before I see him. That way, I have my ADS, reload, handling, movement buffs all ready for the gunfight. Or say I see a teammate getting into a shootout. I shade step towards him into the engagement, or say there's a lot of peek shooting going on and the engagement takes 4 or 5 seconds. Right around that time you get the kill, your dodge might be coming shortly back right after that. So there are like a lot of team fights in Destiny, a lot of team shooting going on. There's a lot of times in between these fights that we have some downtime. So you can have the Wraith buff for the majority of your engagements in PvP. Number 3, this is a very good neutral exotic. The Vote Tracer and Knucklehead do have something that this chess piece does not, that's radar buffs. But after that, it falls between the Stompies and the Dragon Shadow. And I've used the Stompies and they're really good. They're not like Destiny 1, let's say Bones of AO, or the Frosties. They give some of the things. They are very good, it's going to be up to the player. I don't mind using them, but I find a lot of use out of this exotic chess piece instead. I'm not saying that they're bad, they're really good. Just try to find what works for you with your playstyle and with your specific subclass and skill tree that you like playing with. Number 4 is to try out this chess piece in PvP with the Night Stalker, because with the Arc Strider, Lucky Raspberry is just too good to pass up on. And for the Gunslinger, I've been using like the Young Hamkar Spines or the Foe Tracer. The Night Stalker has the stealth and movement to really bring out the strengths of this exotic, I promise. But most importantly, again, for PvP, try to have the buff before your engagement. It lasts long enough that you can do this, because traditionally we shade to get away or we dodge to make a play. There are times that you're gonna have the cooldown to do this, but it is very good on the offensive. I can promise you that. So if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments section what you think about this chess piece. If you have it, let us know in the comments section what you think of it. Be on the lookout for more reviews and gameplay for Destiny 2. Please remember to rate the video. Thank you guys for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.